Okay, this is the teacher, and we're going to talk about the novel City Ember. And then we started reading this book last week, and it's a pretty uh, interesting novel, and that we've had a lot of fun. So I'll give you some of the background knowledge that might be useful in understanding this novel. So this novel is a pretty typical dystopian and post-apocalyptic setting. So for a dystopian novel, it usually describes a society after the society went through a catastrophic event such as a natural disaster. And then because of a natural disaster, some kind of authoritarian regime took place, and then it started having a very oppressive and then controlling rule over the populace. So um, in this kind of setting, usually what is described is the survival, people's attempts for survival, and then in that um, process, many people become really base and then brutal. But there are certain characters, like our heroes, who are trying their best to preserve humanity through cooperation. So, in these time of extreme, the reason why the authors set these extreme situations is to reveal the humanity in the humans, even in the face of extreme situations. So this deals with survival and the collapse of, in the face of a collapse. So there are the main metaphors. The main themes throughout the novel is the metaphor of light and darkness. So the city of Amber exists underground, so it totally lacks natural lighting. So it relies on artificial light, but then it's pretty dim, and then there are frequent blackouts, and it's very uncertain when the lights will remain or not. So people are having constant uncertainty and anxiety. So light usually symbolizes hope and knowledge and life. On the other hand, the darkness represents the sense of despair, and then the state of having no knowledge, which is ignorance, and then dangerous and threatening situations. So the city's failing electricity, it signifies how the crisis is so immediate, and then how the situation is so urgent, and we need a hero who will come up with a solution. And then when we read, while reading the introduction and the first chapter of the novel, we can get this impression that because it's so dark and that it's underground, we feel a little bit suffocated and we feel a little bit claustrophobic. And then we are totally reliant on the artificial light, but then the artificial light does not stay on all the time. It just like goes off without any notice. So people experience a lot of anxiety. Also, a lot of resources are running out, like food and the necessities for life, and then the infrastructure, the buildings are deteriorating. So people have to live in the midst of these shortages and isolation from the outside world, and then entire society is pretty much fragile. So there is this like pressing need and pressing atmosphere for a solution, and that's why we have those main two characters, Lina and Dune, who would figure out together in collaborative efforts. So there is this assignment day when the students finish their education and get their job assignments, and the reactions that Dune and Lina have are totally different. So, uh, Lina really wanted to get the job messenger, but then what she got instead was pipe work, so she was really disappointed. But when Dune suggested switching the positions, Lena instantly got lighthearted and she really loved the fact that she got the job that she desired. But then when Dune got the job messenger, which is a desired job in the city, he was deeply disappointed. He wanted to do something that is meaningful He didn't care about whether it's convenient or easy. He only wanted to do something that could contribute to society, that could make things better, that could like make changes in society. So like by these reactions, we can interpret the characters as Lena is very energetic and she's curious, and she doesn't have many concerns about um, the world that she's living in, the society that she's living in, as long as she's satisfied in her personal life, she's okay. So she's a pretty positive person, but she doesn't have concerns that extend outside her personal boundary. And Dune, on the other hand, he has the tendency leaning towards like problem solving, and he's more pragmatic, and he has this more macro perspective into society. So we can see the contrasting personalities on these characters. So Lena is more optimistic but individualistic, and Dune, he has a sense of responsibility, and then he cannot be easily satisfied by personal comfort and by personal happiness. So these are the analysis of City Amber's introduction in chapter 1.